that's going. We can change it up if we want to. Keep it guessing, keep it guessing, keep it guessing, keep it guessing. It's like ooh la la, ooh la la. It's not hard to say how I feel. It's like ooh la la, ooh la la. It's kinda easy now 'cause it's real. Hey. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Oh, well. Hello. See, it's all these guys' fault. I take no responsibility, but yes, I got the opening thumbnail done this morning, and then when we came back from something, I was going to work on the video for the opening, and guess who forgot because she was watching bears. Yeah, I'm gonna blame the bears. Definitely gonna blame the bears. I could just blame the bears, right? Because if I went to, screen share, would it show that? Nope, it wouldn't. Oh well, sources camera. That's right. Because here, yes, see, that is what I did all day, afternoon, when I got back, watching the bears on YouTube. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. Oh, let's see. He needs to go away. There he is. And I need to turn the bears off of YouTube. Otherwise, I'm just going to be lost. Oh my gosh. So, oh, there. All right, that's kind of showing up. Hello, you guys. Okay, let me pull this over so I can say hi to everybody in a way that makes sense. So I apologize for no opening video, but literally it has been an exciting day at Brooks Falls. They were having the play-by-play with the Rangers, and yesterday afternoon, Otis showed up. Yay! Now, if you don't know who Otis is the oldest known Alaska brown bear that fishes at Brooks Falls, and he's said to be 28 years old. And it was everybody's been really hoping he'd be there. And he showed up, and it's been just exciting. He's skinny, he's old, he's looking kind of long in the tooth, but he's still there. And at least he's fishing, and he jumped right into where he normally does. He was fishing on the conveyor right on the edge of the pool on the outside the jacuzzi, and boom, caught fish and stayed there for most of the afternoon and evening, just fishing away and being his old Otis self. So you guys are all going like, what is she talking about? It's my obsession with the Alaska brown bears at Brooks Falls this time of year. So let's say hi to everybody. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Linda, for asking everybody for the likes and shares. I appreciate it. Hi. Lurking and working. Lupe is lurking and working. Nice. Hi, and there's Madonna and Tamara. Oh no. Tamara, no. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, girl. We are sending love and light and healing energy to you. You bet. Thumbed and shared. Thank you. Thank you, Madonna. Yeah, really. Hi, Larry. How are you there? And through coming in, Larry the Wise. I want to go swimming in that cool water. In the cool water at the Bears? Yes. For you and the amazing stories. Yay, Otis. Yes, Otis. Otis is back. It's so exciting. I mean, he probably won't, he's like a 4-time champion for Fat Bear Week. He didn't win last year. 747 won last year. But 747 is not as dominant this year as 151 Walker is. And 151 Walker came in huge already. Some of them are already close to 1,200 pounds. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm out on the bike heading to the Grands. Had to pit stop at Domino's for some cinnamon twists. Yum! Oh my gosh, pit stop at Domino's for cinnamon twists. Haven't done that in ages. Yay. Oh my goodness. Your connection is acting up. Sheesh. Okay, I hope I got this right. My sound was better there. I've got this up. There, that should be good. All right, so you guys, tonight I have just one story, but it is an amazing story and it needed its own night, its own stuff, and it also has the after story about the whole thing around it, and everything is something pretty extraordinary. Now, the book is by Evan Turk. And I read a book to you called You Are Home, an ode to national parks that was illustrated by Evan Turk. And then I mentioned the other night that he had done oh no, that's somebody else. And he has, and he did that book about Gandhi that I read. And he's just an absolute amazing illustrator. So here are some things about him. Let me get, is my camera B not showing? Where's, oh, it's tiny little thing. Hang on. There, hey. Oh no, it's supposed to be FaceTime, that one. There we go. I had the wrong camera there. Okay, so Evan Turk has done a fair amount of children's books. He's the winner of the 2022 Robert F. Siebert Medal. And Kirkus Reviews, book lists, all kinds of things. The People's Painter, which I'm going to read probably Sunday. I have 2 books. I have a series of books by him that he's done. So I have several to read. But about him, let's talk about him here. He's an award-winning author, illustrator, and animator living in Riverside, California with his husband, Chris, and 2 cats, Pica and Bert. His work has been featured in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune, and the NPR. He's exhibited work in the Society of Illustrators, Arts West Manchester, Mystic Seaport Museum in Connecticut, the Petit Palais Museum of Fine Art in Paris, a graduate of Parsons, the New School for Design. His illustration and animation have been shown all over the world, and he grew up in Colorado and loves nature and being outdoors. He continues his studies with D'Olivero Academy, a private illustration school in New York City, and he loves to travel all over the world and learn about other people and places through drawing and interactions from it. He speaks to kids and adults across the country and loves talking with them about the storytelling of making art. And his animation concept type of things that he does, all sorts of amazing things. Just really, really he did this River Series pastel paintings. Just his sense of line and presence and depth and everything, and how he mixes different kind of medium for this. It's just amazing. So his children's books are just amazing. He's got To See Clearly, which is one I want to read for you, is a portrait of David Hockney. The Red Tin Box I'll be reading later. Hello Moon. Color This Sky I'm going to read. The People's Painter, this one, 1,000 Glass Flowers, I want to read to you. Heartbeat, I might have read, but I'll read again. You Are Home. Muddy Waters. Tonight I'm going to read The Storyteller. I read Grandfather Gandhi. I haven't read Be the Change. Just, there are times when I run into illustrators like this. Where am I? that it just kind of astounds me the what they do and how he puts this together. It is so amazing. Back to this. So I'm going to check with you guys. Hey, Bonnie, hi. I see Bonnie's here. Oh, yay. Buffer on and off. Let's see. Your connection is bad too. Let's see. Let's see if I have. Is it better now, you guys? I used to live in. Okay. Hey, y'all. Red light, green light. Okay. Let me just check something real quick here, you guys. I'm going to check to make sure that the correct sound setting there. And that is there. The input. The output is that. The volume. Okay. That should be good. I restarted my computer and it's better. Okay. I didn't change any of my sound settings. The only thing I didn't do was do a movie, and I switched to YouTube there. I flipped that for a moment. And I'm going to make sure when we go to the next one that all the sound settings are right. Okay, you guys. So, the name of the book that I'm going to read is called The Storyteller. And here it is on my crazy desk. A little bit of light there. Hold it up like that. Now, the illustrations, I have to get this up close. I had to get it in the book form rather than on Kindle because I couldn't read it on Kindle because the way the typeset is done, I couldn't see it. But the illustrations for this book are rendered in water-soluble crayon, colored drawing pencils, inks, indigo, sugared green tea, a heat gun, and fire. Oh my gosh. The Storyteller by Evan Turk. It's set in Morocco a long time ago. You can see the beautiful end paper. Morocco here. The Storyteller. Long, long ago, like a pearl around a grain of sand, the fertile kingdom of Morocco formed near the edge of the great dry Sahara. It had fountains of cool, delicious water to quench the dangerous thirst of the desert, and storytellers to bring the people together. But as the kingdom grew and life became easier, the people forgot their fear of the desert. Soon they forgot the fountains and the storytellers. One by one, the voices of the storytellers were drowned out by noise and silenced by age. And one by one, the fountains dried up. As the last fountain dried, far away in the Sahara, a great wind began to stir. At that same moment, in the hot, dry south of the kingdom, a thirsty young boy made his way through the clamor and smoke of the great square to look for a drink, but no one had any water to give. Our fountains have run dry, the last water seller said, but here, take one of my brass cups. If you find water, you can drink and share it with others. As the boy walked home, a voice called out to him, "My boy, are you looking for something to drink?" A withered old man was perched on the edge of a dry fountain. "That fountain doesn't have any water," the boy said. The man's face cracked like dry mud to reveal a toothless grin. "Sit down, my boy, and your thirst shall be quenched." The old man's voice rumbled like a spring from deep within the earth, and he began. "Not so long ago, there was a terrible drought in the nearby villages. All the rivers and streams ran dry, yet one family always had enough, and they shared with anyone who asked. At first the neighbors were grateful, but soon they became suspicious and greedy. One cunning neighbor decided to sneak her young daughter into the family's house to learn their secret. There she met a blind woman. Pretending to be the woman's granddaughter, she asked in her sweetest voice, "Won't you please tell me why we always have water?" And the blind woman laughed a gravelly laugh. "Oh, our family has never been in want of water, thanks to the great blue bird that lives out in our courtyard. I was given the bird by my mother, and she by hers, and so on back 1,000 years. And for 1,000 years the glittering bird has always flown and found us water, no matter how dry the land has become." "But where did the bird come from?" And the blind woman smiled and replied, "Ah, well, that is a story for another day." As the old man uttered these words, the boy discovered that his brass cup was full of cool water. He gasped and looked up at the storyteller. "But what about the bird?" he asked. "Oh, come back tomorrow, and I shall tell you the story of the glorious blue water bird." And the boy gulped down his water and rushed home. And far away in the Sahara, the wind swirled into an enormous sandstorm. The next morning, the boy awoke at dawn and ran to meet the storyteller at the fountain again. "Would you like to hear the story of the glorious blue water bird?" he asked. And the boy nodded, and the old man began. The next day, the little girls snuck in and asked the blind woman again, "Where did the bird come from?" "Ah, yes. Many years ago, my great-great-grandmother's great-great-grandmother was a carpet weaver. Our village again had a terrible drought, and people had to travel far to find water. One day, a very old woman walked into the weaver's home with a bundle wrapped in cloth. "My dear, are you thirsty?" she asked. "Oh my, yes," the weaver replied. "We haven't a drop in our whole village." And the old woman smiled, unwrapped her bundle to reveal a spindle of the most beautiful, shimmering blue yarn. "I was once a weaver as well," she said, "but I have grown old and can no longer trust my hands. Please take this yarn and create something for your people to hope for, and I promise your thirst will be quenched." Where did you come by this beautiful yarn?" The old woman chuckled and replied, "Ah, well, that is a story for another day." And she left. The old man smiled, and again the boy's brass cup was full of beautiful, clear water. "But what about the yarn?" the boy asked. "Oh, come back tomorrow, and I shall tell you the story of the miraculous yarn. So the boy drank his water and headed home. Not so far away in the Sahara, the sandstorm gathered and grew and blocked out the sun. The boy came back the next day, eager to hear the rest of the story. The storyteller cleared his throat and his voice poured out. The next day, the old woman returned to the weaver's home to find her struggling with the yarn. "I don't know how to begin," the weaver said. "It is as if my mind unravels in front of the loom." "Ah, yes," said the old woman. "You must first find hope for yourself before you can weave it for others. Let me tell you the story of this miraculous yarn. When I was young and beautiful, I was a princess, and I was to marry a prince. I did not love him, and so the night before my wedding, I escaped into the desert with only a camel and my life. I wandered across the dunes for so long that I could no longer count the days. I thought myself near death until there appeared what I thought must surely be a mirage. There in the deep valley was a loom and an enormous pile of yarn of every color. I collapsed in the sand and wept in despair. Yet, as I stared at the yarn, I noticed a blue glimmer, and I began to hope. I picked up the end of the sparkling yarn you see before you and began to weave it into a carpet of shimmering blue. Within hours, I had woven the finest carpet in the land. I laid it out into the center of the valley and fell asleep. When I awoke, the carpet had turned into a beautiful clear pool, and I drank until I could take no more. Renewed, I sat in front of the loom and began to weave again. Clay red for a house to keep me safe from sand and wind. Emerald green for a grove of palm trees to give me shade. Bright gold and copper for juicy dates to satisfy my hunger. I kept weaving until I had birthed an entire kingdom. When I was finished, the only yarn left was this spindle of blue, which never seemed to run out. With tears in her eyes, the carpet weaver smiled at the old woman. She gathered the women in of her family together, and in a flurry they began tying knots, one by one. The yarn came alive in their fingers, and soon a glorious bird awakened and emerged from the loom. It burst out the door with a buoyant cry and disappeared into the sky. It returned only moments later, carrying buckets full of fresh, clear water, which it poured into the well. Again and again it flew until the well overflowed, and the village was saved. The little girl thanked the blind woman for her story. Then she crept out the door to tell her mother, who hatched a plan to steal the bird. Late that night, the mother snuck into the neighbor's courtyard. There she spied the most beautiful creature she had ever seen, glittering like a sapphire in the moonlight. She fell to her knees and wept. The family came out into the courtyard to find their neighbor on the floor. "Good neighbor, why do you weep? And why are you in our home?" "In greed, I came to steal this bird, but once in its presence, I was filled with hope instead. Reflected in its feathers, I saw myself." And the family brought her inside, and they shared a pot of sweet tea with fresh mint, and she dried her eyes. No one ever tried to steal the bird again, and the village never again went without water. With this, the old man finished, and the boy's brass cup overflowed with water. The boy sipped from it and poured the rest into the fountain. At that very moment, the sandstorm arrived at the gate to the city in the form of an enormous djinn. His voice boomed across the trembling walls. "I am the desert, and now that your fountains are gone, I shall destroy your city at sundown and make you part of the desert again." The boy and the storyteller smiled at each other, and the boy ran to the gate. "Oh, mighty Sahara, before you destroy us, let me tell you a tale, and perhaps you will reconsider," he shouted into the wind. "I have made up my mind, but you may continue, and I will destroy your city at sundown." And so the boy began to tell the tale of the endless drought. The djinn was intrigued and failed to notice the sun setting. "But what about the bird?" he asked when the boy had finished. It was nearly dark now, and a small circle of people had formed. "Ah, well, that is a story for another day," the boy replied. "If you spare our city tonight, tomorrow I will tell you the tale of the glorious blue water bird." The djinn agreed and faded into the desert for the night. The next afternoon, the boy brought together all the water sellers from the square and asked them to give a brass cup to anyone who came to listen. The djinn arrived at the gate and said, "Tell me your tale, and I will destroy your city at sundown." The boy began the tale. As he did, more and more people crowded around, and each one was given a brass cup. The djinn again failed to notice the sun setting, and the boy told his story, and by the end the sun had been down for some time. The crowd gasped to see their cups full of water. "But what about the yarn?" the djinn asked. "Ah, well, that is a story for another day," the boy said. "If you spare our city tonight, tomorrow I will tell you the story of the miraculous yarn." The djinn yawned and agreed and disappeared back into the desert. The boy then had everyone pour their water into the fountains. The next day, the entire city circled around the boy to hear his tale, and soon the djinn arrived as well. "Tell me your tale, and then I will destroy your city at sundown." And the boy began. As his voice rose, the great square fell silent. The audience began pouring their cups of water into the fountains, and by the end of the tale, the fountains were gurgling again. The djinn was so entranced that he didn't notice any of this. "What clever stories, my boy, but alas, I must destroy your city." But when the sandstorm began to push against the walls, water began to gush from every fountain. The djinn found himself hopelessly overpowered. With one final roar from the crowd, the djinn fell back in defeat. At last, he retreated further and further until he was deep in the dunes of the Sahara. "And that," said the storyteller, "is the story of how, not long ago, a young boy saved Morocco from the desert." "But what happened to the boy?" asked a small girl in the audience. "Ah, well," he replied with a wink, "that is a story for another day. And that, we'll go back. So what did you guys think of that? About a story within a story in a story. Yes, Bonnie. Yes. It is enjoying it coming together. It's lots to think. This is a story within a story. I have a small loom, but nowhere to use it. Oh. Oh, Sandy Elnock. Yes, she is great. I watch her too. She does. She lives across the bay from me. I mean, she lives up in Seattle, but not too far. Really cool. A whole review on papers. Some pill ready. Yes. I saw one of her reviews. So anyway, I have to pull something up to show you guys this. Here. Okay, I have to put this because I have to read this other part to you, and I forgot to pull up this website. MAKEZH. Just a sec. Done. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Try that. Nope, that didn't work. Well, the websites aren't coming up. So here's the author's note about this. And this is what I found so absolutely fascinating because you guys know that my degree is in oral interpretation of literature. And I had the choice of either getting, I was in the School of Speech Communication and I didn't, there. And I didn't really, I could have gone through this College of Ed in another department and gotten a storyteller degree basically through Sam Sebesta but I was doing oral interpretation of literature in the College of Education, in the College of Speech Communication, but storytelling was just part of what we did, and between Dr. Post and Dr. Sebesta, it was just amazing. And then Aurora Valentinelli was my puppetry teacher, and she was an internationally known puppeteer, and we had the chance to meet and study with and learn from Pleasant to Spain and all kinds of just absolutely incredible international storytellers. But this is the author's note, and it starts out with an old Moroccan saying as a quote. It says, "When a storyteller dies, a library burns." Just think about that. When a storyteller dies, a library burns. Storytelling is often teasingly considered the second oldest profession. That's how news was communicated way back. It was a storyteller would go from village to village to village, and they would come with the stories of what had happened, and they would tell the stories and go on, and they were revered when they came to town. But here is this. There is a unique kind of magic that comes from hearing a story told. With only the power of a voice, an entire world can be created. Suddenly the audience becomes the hero, the villain, or a magic djinn commanding the desert sandstorm. Most importantly, once the story is over, all you need to share it with others is your own voice. Morocco's public storytellers, or hiyakia, I don't know if I'm saying that right, have been learning, preserving, and sharing stories for nearly 1,000 years. These stories have been passed down from generation to generation and have become a part of the cultural fabric. The power of these storytellers lies in their audience, or haka, meaning circle, ring, or link. With the hakia in the center, the audience forms an expanding circle and is linked with the generations who came before them through their stories. But these storytellers are disappearing. As audiences drift toward television, movies, and the internet, there is no one for the aging hakia to pass their stories along to. Only a handful of master storytellers remain. Recently, there has been a resurgence in storytelling at a restaurant called Cafe Clock in the city of Marrakesh, where young Moroccans learn from a master storyteller and take ownership of their culture. Morocco, like countries all over the world, including the United States, is at a crossroads where their future threatens to eclipse what is beautiful about the past. I love that. It's so true. Where their future threatens to eclipse what is beautiful about the past. Traditions like storytelling and carpet weaving are vanishing all over the world. It is up to all of us to realize the magic of these things and share them with others before they disappear. And it had a couple of websites, and I tried to, there it goes. And they did not, MarrakeChCafeclock.com. Okay, that one didn't work. And let's try this one. See if HikayYaTMorocco.Weebly. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen a Weebly.com. See if that one works. Ooh. Working to preserve Moroccan storytelling since 2013. Let's go to here and let me switch to, I got the website, switch to the source to the screen share. See what it says. Learn more. Hikayat Morocco was started in December 2013 by a master storyteller and a group of young Moroccans and their friends. They recognized the importance of Morocco's oral tradition. Together, they are committed to sharing these stories and finding a space for folk tales in today's world. Has been featured in Al Jazeera English Witness Program. Scheduled performance, news, and films. News. Oh, look at that. They have. Oh, look at they have some on YouTube. Moroccan storytelling. Al Halaka, the storyteller of Marrakesh, keeping a Moroccan tradition alive, one tale at a time. Moroccan storytelling is a part of an American professor and Fulbright grantee Betsy Bolton's larger project and a documentary film. So there's some stuff about it. Cool. I think that's incredible. I just think that's darn right incredible. So story within a story within a story. Yeah, I just thought this book was spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Now, his artwork. What did you guys think of the artwork? I mean, it's so much to it. And the weaving and the use of the indigo, like on this page. Let me go back to here. And here and switch to, I'm back on the wrong thing here. Source of camera. So this, the use of the indigo, because that's the color that indigo is, that he used in the artwork, and how indigo is over there, and what they, and when my mom, because my mom was a master weaver, and she went to Morocco, went to America and all this to see the weaving places. And just, it was amazing to see some of the things. She has this beautiful, well, actually, Sarah has the rug. Sarah has the rug. Mom brought a rug back that was made there. It was a small little one. We had it, it was her, she had bathroom was like 2 feet by 3 feet. So it was pretty small. Yeah, but these colors he used, and the mix between the pens, and that he used water-soluble crayons like Caran d'Ache type things, and all of this. I just love the whole. It's just, and you'll see some of others of this style of his in some of his other books too, when I read them. Anyway, you guys, that's the book, The Storyteller. Oh my goodness. Go back. There we go. And pick out from each painting. Yes, it's a lot to it. It has a lot to it. Typical of folk tales, the set of 3. So the 3 things that happen, the 3 parts to the story, you know, come back another day. That's a story for another day. That's a story. It comes in 3s. And it just fits. And it was one of the things that we learned in storytelling, and how to memorize, because they would memorize these, the storytellers would. And if you've ever seen anything Pleasant to Spain did, it was all on stage from memory. And when he would come to schools or different places, and it's just that whole thing, you learn to build it. And part of the ease of the storytelling, not only does it keep the listener engaged in the rule of thirds, but it also is easier to remember those things like that. So it's pretty amazing. All right, you guys, that's the only story I have for today. It was one that had so much depth to it and so many things. And like I said, I was kind of wackadoo and forgot about doing some things. I got distracted by my bears. So, you know, they came into play. There he is. I'm just having too much fun making these overlays that have backgrounds that, yeah, he got a fish. Yep. So anyway, there he goes off up the river. Yeah. I love it. Look at him. I know. Isn't that great? I found, Bonnie, what I did was, so how I did this, you guys, so I went to Canva and I found a video of a bear catching a fish. They had little green screen bears, but the green screen bears looked like cartoon bears. And I want a real one. This one was a real one. Looked like he was up in Alaska. And since I have the pro version of Canva, I opened it up and I did a background remover. So I took the background from out of the video. So all I got left was the bear. But then in order to bring it here into this, I wanted to be able to have it on a green screen. So then I put a green background behind it. And then when I brought it in here, it was, I put it on, I overlaid the video on top of a green screen or a green background. And then when I brought the bear in, the 2 in here as one, then I could hit my green screen thing that makes the green disappear. And then my bear's there. Because if I did this right here, and I changed it, I don't know if you guys can't see me do that. I can change it from green screen to normal and see a green screen pops back up, and there he is. So you can see that. So then I have changed the blend mode on it to a green screen. That's part of what you can. Just playing. Just playing. Yeah, it is kind of like a layer. It's an overlay. It's a green screen overlay, Linda. And so it was fun. It's fun. It's easier with the ones like my squirrel, like this guy. There, the squirrel. That one was easier because that was already on a green screen, and so all I had to do was just pull the whole thing in and just take the one green screen. I had to layer this. I had to do a background removal of this regular and then put it on top of a green background and do that. So that was fun. All right, you guys. Sunday. Send art in. I've been painting birds and doing Zen doodles and fiddling like a crazy person. Like did goofy birds and stuff like that, and sketching and stuff. And I've got homework to do for my art class, so I'll probably have stuff to show. So you guys send stuff in, please. Oh, Bonnie, why do you think I do lives? I have videos I should edit and put, but that's why I do these lives, because I don't edit these. This is why I don't have to edit them. Yeah, but anyway, I don't like to edit videos either. I can do this kind of stuff, but editing videos for some reason, I'm getting there. I get there, but putting this stuff together is more like creating photos for me, sort of. Anyway, I learned how to do it bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. I mean, the eCam community has been really patient with this gangsta grandma here in learning how to do this stuff. So anyway, you guys, have a great evening. It's warm here, and but we will be back on Sunday. I have some more books of Evan Turk's work, and just amazing. I have the one that he did for Tommy DePaula. I have a couple books that'll go with that and some other things, but send in your things for Sunday night. We'll have story and Sunday shenanigans and lots of laughs and beautiful books, and share your stuff and celebrate each other's and give yourselves a high five for each and every day that you do something for yourself and are creative. And until next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. The squirrel's there, and so's the bear. It's all around you. But the first place you'll find it, is when you go look in the mirror. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Go watch Otis. Explore.org on YouTube. Live bear cams. Woo! Brooks Falls. Sorry.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feeling alright, we won't go home, we will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards. We could be shameless, famous, run